From cooking chicken in cold and flu medicine,
Yikes! All right, no salt, no pepper.
to people drinking literal laundry detergent as a health hack,
Borax.
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 Go check it out.
these are the craziest TikTok diets and meals ever seen. Starting with a chicken catastrophe so dangerous that the FDA had to step in and save the general public by reminding everyone that medicine is for your cabinet, not for your cookpot. Nyquil chicken, also known as sleepy chicken, was a massive trend that involved taking a perfectly good chicken breast and braising it in cold and flu medicine. This hazardous trend is supposed to have started as a 4chan joke many years ago, but like most toxic waste, it eventually washed up on the shores of TikTok, and eventually, creators began posting videos of themselves pouring entire bottles of Vicks NyQuil over poultry, flipping the meat with hair straighteners or spatulas until it turned a bruised, swampy green or blue. Although the trend proved to be incredibly popular, it also led to a major health crisis. The problem wasn't just the taste, which was obviously bitter, metallic, and filled with regret. It was the fact that when you boil NyQuil, you're concentrating the active ingredients, not just making a sauce, a concept better explained by this pharmacist.
Confused and concerned why the internet is so obsessed with putting NyQuil on their food. Because I know there's gonna be some smarty pants that's gonna be like, oh, well, you know, since he's heating it up, this is actually gonna be safer. And that can actually be further from the truth, because heat is actually not gonna reliably destroy acetaminophen. What it can actually do is concentrate it as the liquid is evaporating. The analogy I like to use is think of boiling salt water. Some of the water is gonna disappear, but the salt becomes stronger.
Basically, boiling the medicine changes its molecular structure and makes it significantly more potent. It sounds bad already, but the real danger is the steam. So when these creators cook the medicine on a stovetop, they essentially create a concentrated medicinal vapor, and inhaling these fumes can cause high levels of the drug to enter your lungs and bloodstream instantly, bypassing the digestive system entirely. In other words, they were literally huffing a massive unregulated dose of a sedative. But despite this massive trend, there were a few who were sane enough to know that this was wrong and felt like the trend was just too stupid. The fact that we have to tell people no to cook chicken on NyQuil. The backlash was so swift that in September 2022, the FDA issued an official warning about the dangers, which said that even if you don't eat the chicken, the act of cooking it could lead to lung damage or loss of consciousness.
It's our warning from the FDA. Don't cook your chicken in NyQuil. This comes after a viral video surfaced on TikTok showing a man frying 2 chicken breasts in the cold and flu medication. The FDA says boiling the medication makes it more dangerous because it can change its concentration. Even if people don't eat it, cooking it creates vapors that could cause high levels of the drugs to enter the body and hurt the lung.
Over on Reddit, the base reaction was one of hate and disgust. The latest TikTok challenge? Further proof that the app needs to be banned. I can only imagine some stupid new way to get high. NyQuil chicken was basically a kitchen catastrophe with absolutely no nutritional value, non-existent culinary logic, and an incredibly high medical risk. It's proof that in the desperate quest for a viral what I eat in a day video, some people are willing to turn their kitchens into hazardous waste sites, while others would completely neglect all the necessary ingredients for a proper meal, like in this next crazy TikTok diet. Back in the summer of 2023, that catchy operatic jingle was everywhere, and it quickly became a favorite among girls.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Oh, girl dinner.
The trend started as a relatable celebration of the low-effort meal, like using a few slices of cheese or pasta with no sauce and a handful of grapes as an excuse for dinner, like in medieval times. That later spiraled into one of the most polarizing dietary debates the platform has ever seen. On the surface, it was a rebellion against the labor of cooking a proper meal, but underneath lay a controversy that had nutritionists and eating disorder specialists sounding the alarm.
That is not okay. It is not quirky or cute to be eating 3 olives for a meal, just having your vape as a meal. I saw one girl turn over and go to sleep as her meal. I don't like coming on here and seeing eating disorders being normalized. It is not okay.
The trend was sparked by creator Olivia Marr, and initially the internet loved it. It was a collective sigh of relief for women tired of the expectation of cooking meals every dinner. It was about eating what you want when you want, without the weight of family expectations.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Oh, girl dinner.
However, as the trend went mega viral, so did the chaos. The trend finally went bust when the contents of the meals transitioned from simple meals to a plate of ice cubes and a Diet Coke or half a bar of chocolate.
This is my meal. meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Oh, girl dinner.
Suddenly, TikTok was flooded with videos of women showing off incredibly small portions, a single piece of toast, a handful of popcorn, or even just a glass of water, and labeling it girl dinner. Of course, this triggered a massive wave of concern regarding disordered eating, with critics arguing that the trend was becoming a modern-day version of pro-anorexia content, disguised in a cute, catchy aesthetic. Of course, the medical community didn't stay quiet. In an interview with the New York Times, Olivia Amatrano, a clinical herbalist and wellness influencer, pointed out the risk that the girls were not meeting their caloric needs. According to her, just eating enough is so important when you're having your girl dinner. It wasn't just her. Several registered dietitians pointed out that while snacking is fine, many girl dinners lack the basic caloric density required for an adult human to function. Despite this, there were others who defended the trend, arguing that it was being overanalyzed. Girl dinner is when I give in to my cravings or when I'm too lazy to go shopping and just want to eat what's in the house. Girl dinner is an assortment of fun snacks because cooking requires effort and cleanup, and sometimes you just have a weird, specific craving. To them, girl dinner was never meant to be a dietary prescription, but a cultural moment about the domestic freedom of single women. Yet the damage was done. The term became a lightning rod for discussions on how TikTok trends can accidentally encourage undereating, and it was no different from the version the men would come up with. If girl dinner was an aesthetic rebellion against the labor of cooking, then boy kibble is its hyper-masculine version, especially in the world of bulk talk or flavor goes to diet. Macros are the only thing that matters.
Plate my boy kibble. First up, we have some rice. This is like 5 different types of rice: jasmine, black pearl, jazzberry, basmati. It's like a blend. Some of the rice is chewier, some is softer, but I like that textural difference. Next up, we have some ground beef. I like it a little raw. Some cottage cheese, an avocado. This is really mushy, so it might be a little brown.
Started by Chris Bumstead and an army of gym-focused influencers, boy kibble is exactly what it sounds like. A massive, unseasoned, beige pile of protein and carbs served in a bowl.
Eating higher amounts of protein, typically I would eat like 180 to 200 grams, but because I'm only eating 4 to 5 meals a day right now, I'm having like 250 grams. So this is 250 grams of chicken, 250 grams of rice, and probably like 100 grams of guacamole. And I feel like that's just the best way to get protein in when you feel like you're slacking. Instead of having 6-7 meals a day, it's fucking impossible. Just eat bigger meals.
The logic behind boy kibble is rooted in the fact that there really isn't just enough time, especially in the modern fitness world. For bodybuilders and bulk talk creators, the goal is to consume an astronomical amount of protein and calories without the distraction of complex recipes. Just like Chris Bumstead, who famously started this trend with his What I Eat in a Day videos, the average TikTok teen has stuck to the trend, consuming remarkably plain meals like ground turkey and rice, repeated 4 times a day.
So I guess we're calling this boy kibble now. It's pretty much a guy's lunch or dinner that looks like this. I'm not gonna lie, it does look like kibble, and I do eat this Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner because it's the time to lock in. And it does yield results.
The problem with the trend wasn't just about the lack of seasoning. It was about the psychology of labeling these meals kibble. It was basically getting the fitness community to lean into a beast mode mentality that strips the humanity out of eating. As expected, there has been backlash from professional dietitians and other food nutritionists. According to Louis Lave's Webb, an Austin psychotherapist, muscle building culture plays a role in masking disordered eating behavior. Just like how girl dinner was accused of being pro-anorexia, boy kibble was also accused of being pro-orthorexia, which is an obsession with eating pure or correct foods that leads to a dangerously restrictive lifestyle.
Forget girl dinner, men are now eating like dogs, literally. The viral boy kibble trend is taking over social media, and it's really simple: ground beef and rice bowls. No frills, no fancy plating, just pure protein-packed fuel. Fitness fans say that they chow down up to 7 times a week to save money and pack on gains. Plus, it's cheap and easy. Some call it efficient, others call it sad, but nutritionists are saying it's probably a good idea to add some veggies to your boy kibble.
Ultimately, boy kibble represents the death of the culinary spirit in the name of the grind. It's also just more proof that on TikTok, even the act of eating can be turned into a competitive sport. Whether it's a necessity for a pro bodybuilder or a cry for help from a teenager with a gym membership, boy kibble is the meal that proves that we've officially forgotten how to enjoy a plate of food. At the very least, this trend didn't get the FDA to put out statements, unlike this next crazy sauce. If you've been on TikTok for long enough, you'd remember that back in the summer of 2022, TikTok's For You page page was filled with a vibrant neon pink liquid that many joked looked more like Pepto-Bismol than a condiment.
Sauce. I made the sauce.
Chef P, a Miami-based private chef, became the center of this food safety controversy known simply as pink sauce. What started as the incredibly cool gimmick of dipping golden chicken tenders into a mystery fuchsia sludge quickly transformed into the internet's most harrowing lesson in food regulation and basic math.
One thing you gonna know about the kid ain't never predictable. That's what the kid ain't never.
The allure of pink sauce was its sheer impossibility. How could something that color be natural? Especially when its creator, Chef P, claimed that the hue came from dragon fruit mixed with sunflower oil, honey, and chili. For $20 a bottle plus shipping, the product attracted thousands of buyers, curious to try the viral sensation.
I just left Walmart, and guess what I got? The pink sauce. Go ahead and air.
But as soon as the first wave of orders hit the mail, the pink dream turned into a pink nightmare. The controversy erupted when customers began receiving bottles that had bloated in transit.
We got the pink sauce. It is cold too, it's cold.
Okay, y'all starting to scare me now. Do you see how bloated that bottle is? Why is it bloated? That comes from a buildup of bacteria that has created a gas due to lack of refrigeration. There are ingredients in this sauce that should be held at a certain temperature. It should be kept cold. And due to lack of refrigeration, bacteria has built up in the package, causing the plastic to expand. Do not eat that sauce. Read up on botulism right now.
The original recipe contained milk and honey and was shipped in summer without refrigeration or ice packs, causing the sauce to essentially ferment in the cardboard boxes. Soon enough, users started posting videos of bloated, leaky bottles that smelled like rotten eggs and spoiled dairy, making fun of anybody who ever bought the product.
I think I'm mad at this young lady for selling y'all Pepto-Bismol, Sprite, milk. No, y'all brought Pepto-Bismol, Sprite, and milk. Shit blew up in the mail. What the fuck you thought was gonna happen? What the fuck you thought? Y'all got sick. Y'all got sick because you was eating a Pepto-Bismol cake.
The central issue throughout the situation was the lack of accountability. The original label raised concerns, and when questioned about the lack of FDA approval and safety risks, Chef P responded during a live stream in a way that drew criticism.
What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical product. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I never said that.
This quote became the ultimate memeable moment of the crisis and would be made fun of on almost every social media platform. And apparently, she's a professional chef who's been one for over 4 years. That level of skin-shearing stupidity and jaw-dropping arrogance from someone who's full more of ignorance than red dye really makes you question how we as a species have managed this long when people are willing to give her $20 for the opposite of Pepto-Bismol in everything but color. The pink sauce wasn't just a bad product, it became a symbol of TikTok commerce, where the attention is valued more than public health. Just as the brand seemed destined for a total legal collapse, Dave's Gourmet partnered with Chef P to take over production. The major food brand eventually reformulated the liquid to ensure it was actually shelf-stable, with a much more stable pink. Unfortunately, TikTok's weird love for purchasing unhealthy food didn't start with Chef P. Back in 2021, there was a trend that perfectly encapsulated the sensory overload era of TikTok, and that was the frozen honey craze. Created by Dave Ramirez, now widely known as the Frozen Honey King, frozen honey was basically taking a simple plastic water bottle, filling it with honey, and freezing it for several days until it reached a thick, gel-like consistency. As simple as it sounded, Ramirez had somehow started a dietary movement that would dominate ASMR-focused food talk for years. But as the trend evolved, it quickly went from simple honey to neon-colored mixtures of corn syrup and even ketchup. As a result, the sweet sensation quickly turned into a sour medical warning.
Tabasco frozen honey. Mountain Dew frozen honey. Warheads Lemonava frozen honey. Listerine frozen honey. Ketchup frozen honey.
The appeal of frozen honey was rooted almost entirely in its sensory appeal, and that's because the honey's high sugar content and low water activity did not allow it to form a solid block of ice. Instead, it turned into a chewy, jelly-like substance that was perfect for the ASMR era. For viewers, it was strangely satisfying to watch, and Dave Ramirez essentially built a digital empire on the appeal of its gel-like texture, eventually escalating the trend with neon dyes, edible glitter, and even spicy variations. However, the reality behind the trend raised health concerns. While the videos were satisfying, the reality of consuming an entire bottle of concentrated sugar in one sitting is a nightmare for the human body. As the trend peaked, so did the reports. Soon, nutritionists and doctors began flooding the app with warnings about consuming this kind of food.
Just a friendly PSA to not do the honey trend. Experts are saying that eating large amounts of honey can cause bloating, cramps, and other stomach issues. It can also pull out teeth and fillings. If you try it once with a little bit of honey, you should be okay, but just don't go eating the whole bottle.
Honey is primarily composed of fructose and glucose. When consumed in massive quantities, your small intestine can become overwhelmed. According to Sarah Rubin, a dietitian in New York, she said eating large amounts of honey could lead to stomach aches and diarrhea. She added that when you eat something that's so high in sugar, you're going to have an equally high insulin response, which often leads you to having that sugar high and then getting really shaky afterwards as your blood sugar drops. Beyond the gut issues, it wasn't just the nutritionists who were sounding the alarms. The dental community was in a state of panic as well. The sticky, frozen consistency of the honey makes it the perfect vehicle for tooth decay, as it clings to the enamel and seeps into every crevice.
And frozen honey and corn syrup becomes very sticky and has the potential to pull out fillings, crowns, or even cause cracked teeth. Honey or corn syrup is a fermentable carbohydrate, which is very cariogenic. That means it has increased potential to cause tooth decay. Even worse, it lingers on teeth longer than ordinary sugar or soft drinks. I would really be cautious.
By 2024 and 2025, the trend had stabilized into a niche ASMR category, but the legacy of the frozen honey king remains proof of the power of texture over health. And it wouldn't be the last sweet tooth diet to hit the app. Another trend that was visually aggressive was the Chamoy pickle, a viral food trend that transformed the humble dill pickle into a neon red, candy-stuffed, salt-encrusted flavor bomb.
I don't care what y'all be saying. This be hitting every time.
Led by creators like Joey Hernandez of Casa Dulce and an army of ASMR mukbangers, this trend turned the Chamoy pickle into the most sought-after item on the TikTok shop. The logic behind the Chamoy pickle trend was a Mexican-inspired fusion that took the sourness of a pickle and cranks it to 11 with the sweet, spicy, and tangy notes of chamoy, a condiment made of pickled fruit, chili, and lime.
Let's try out the Chamoy pickle kit. Remember, you can find these in our TikTok shop and get 30% off your order and free shipping. Our chamoy pickle and stuffed it with our watermelon squinkles. Topped it off with our chilito loco chamoy. And I also added some Lucas chamoy chili powder. Now for the other half of the pickle, I got the sour apple squinkles, stuffed the pickle, added chilito loco chamoy, and topped it off with some mango Lucas chili powder. You can find these in our TikTok shop.
As with everything on this list, the TikTok version took it a step further by adding a sweet and crunchy interior. It all started with Joey Hernandez and Casa Dulce pioneering the kit economy and selling pre-packaged boxes containing everything a teen needs to create this masterpiece at home.
This is what the pickle looks like. We got a pickle kit. It comes with Takis. This is like a powdered chamoy, a chamoy liquid. It also comes with 2 packs of squinkles. I got the sour red pickle. Take the fruit roll up. We're finna wrap it, stretch it, and wrap it. That's what it looks like. Stuff it with Takis. I'm gonna try to fit like 4. Get your spaghetti. Just look how good that looks. Stuff these inside. Y'all, this is what it's looking like. Add some of the powder, some of the chamoy. First bite for you.
While the crunch was satisfying, the nutritional profile of this meal told a far more concerning story, particularly for the kidneys.
Chamoy pickle kit consequences. Hearing loss, radiation, poisoning, nerve damage loss of feeling in toes. and fingers can no longer smell can no longer go potty. By myself, Rolissa Scott.
Of course, the medical community was quick to chime in. Doctors on the app began warning about the acidity overload, because combining the vinegar from the pickle with the citric acid in the chamoy and the spice of the takis is a recipe for extreme acid reflux and potential damage to the stomach lining. Meanwhile, on Reddit, the reaction was one of baffled disgust. "This is disgusting and an abomination. I never liked pickles and only knew them as burger condiments and salad-style dinner supplements. Now, in recent years, they've become a trendy snack food, and everything I see people do with them on TikTok, oh, it scares me." Sadly, the viral trend ended, scarring a few people while hospitalizing others. Ultimately, the chamoy pickle is just another part of the extreme flavor era of social media. It proved that in 2024, the best way to get 1 million views was to eat something that doesn't look edible, regardless of what it does to your digestive tract. And that leads us to our next crazy TikTok diet. In early 2023, TikTok became obsessed with a sensory phenomenon that involved taking a standard fruit snack and wrapping it around a scoop of mango or vanilla ice cream. This science experiment was eventually named the fruit roll-up ice cream. The magic happened instantly. The fruit roll-up, loaded with sugar and stabilizing waxing, flash freezes upon contact with the cold ice cream, creating a hard glass-like shell that pops with a loud, satisfying sound when bitten. It was the ultimate ASMR bait, but like every other concoction we've seen so far, it quickly became a nightmare for the nation's dental professionals.
The roll-up like dissolves in your mouth. It's chewy.
The real pushers of the trend were the sensory-seeking TikTok creators, who live for that specific high-frequency crunch sound. Unlike a traditional chocolate magic shell, the fruit roll-up version provided a chewy yet brittle texture that didn't exist anywhere else in nature. However, the logic behind the snack was purely for the camera. Nutritionally, you're taking a high-sugar processed dairy product and wrapping it in a sheet of concentrated corn syrup and red 4D dye. It was essentially a double hit of glucose, having no real nutritional value, but delivering just enough spectacle to feel like the star of a fleeting 15-second moment.
Cheers. You guys have to try this. 10 out of 10.
As the trend peaked, so did the dental react videos, which focused on the fact that when frozen, the fruit snack becomes so incredibly hard that it acts like a literal adhesive on the tooth's enamel. As a result, TikTok dentists began posting urgent warnings, explaining that biting into this crunchy shell was extremely harmful.
Ice cream fruit roll-ups versus braces. Let's find out if it's safe for braces. Blue raspberry fruit roll-up and vanilla ice cream. I'm really nervous to try this. I don't know if this is gonna actually have that crunch that everyone else is getting. It actually tastes really good, but it's so sticky. It's literally sticking all in my teeth. I can't imagine if I had braces on. Definitely not safe for braces.
Nonetheless, the comment section was filled with people who just didn't care and were eager to try it out for themselves. Can you just let people have fun and make a TikTok of eating weird food? No one is eating this every day of their life. Why would you care? Let people live. If you want to count grams, then do. Some people do not. Stop wasting your time and caring so much. These comments were a response to another nutritionist talking about the high sugar levels in the snack.
Oh, not another sugar hack, sugar trend snack. Even Tommy's doing this. Look, just in one fruit roll-up, there's 7 grams of sugar, and 6 of those 7 come from added sugar, which is just corn syrup. And plus you're adding the scoop or 2 of ice cream, it's another 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 grams of sugar. This snack is probably like 10 to 20 grams of sugar.
Eventually, the craze devolved into a frantic game of what else can we wrap, as creators scoured their kitchens for the next high-frequency crunch. From pickles and frozen grapes to raw marshmallows, everything was being rolled up in sugary fruit leather for the sake of a viral clip.
Bismillah.
Ultimately, fruit roll-up ice cream was just another entry in the gamification of eating that TikTokers were in love with. It was a meal designed to be heard, not digested, proving that in the quest for viral clout, the TikTok community is more than willing to trade their long-term dental health for a moment of high-frequency audio bliss, and it could only get worse. Another trend that dominated wellness talk in the mid-2020s was the chlorophyll drops trend, which was the drinking of highly concentrated swamp water in the name of wellness and smooth skin.
You want to keep your body healthy and clean? Liquid chlorophyll, a few drops in the water. Acts as an internal deodorant. This is good for bad breath, sweat, stools, urine, food odors such as garlic or onions. Start applying a little bit of this in your body and you'll see a huge difference.
This trend involved adding dark forest green liquid chlorophyll, the pigment plants use for photosynthesis, to a glass of water. This horrendous trend was promoted by influencers as a miracle cure-all. In fact, the claim was that a few drops could act as an internal deodorant that erased cystic acne and oxygenated the blood for instant energy. Basically, the ultimate biohack for people who want the benefits of a salad without the inconvenience of actually chewing one.
What I have right here is called chlorophyll. I know a lot of people been hearing about it lately, but the sea moss that I'm using right here, I have one sea moss that contains chlorophyll in it already. But I'm gonna start selling chlorophyll separately because I know a lot of people like to put them in their water. Chlorophyll can clear your skin. Chlorophyll is also the pigment, the green pigment that's found in plants that help with photosynthesis. Chlorophyll can be used as a permanent deodorant if you start taking it long enough. It will change the body to that you won't even have to use deodorant anymore. You have a natural smell.
The logic sold to TikTok was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of biology. Influencers claim that chlorophyll's molecular structure is remarkably similar to human hemoglobin. The specific claim was that chlorophyll had a magnesium center, while hemoglobin used iron, and that drinking it would somehow supercharge our blood's ability to carry oxygen. But according to health specialists, this was not true, simply because humans were not plants. In other words, we do not photosynthesize, and our bodies do not simply swap the magnesium for iron to create more blood. Nonetheless, it wasn't until the claim of instant energy from oxygenated blood was largely debunked by medical professionals that the rave began to die down.
Here are a few things you should know before hopping on this chlorophyll trend. First of all, there is very limited research that supports the benefits of it, but nobody really cares about that because it's on TikTok. But here's the main takeaway that I want you to get out of this. Chlorophyll is the most abundant pigment in plants that make them green, like spinach and asparagus. If you eat 1 cup of spinach, which is like nothing, you're getting in about 24 milligrams of chlorophyll, which is equivalent to a little less than a dropper of liquid chlorophyll. So when you eat your greens, you're not only getting in your chlorophyll, but vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fiber. Yeah, I choose veggies.
However, the most dangerous part of the trend wasn't the green water itself, but the unintended risks and the side effects it triggered. As thousands of users began overdosing to speed up their acne results, the chlorophyll drops phenomenon took over the app. Nobody knew it at the time, but chlorophyll could cause photosensitivity, meaning it makes your skin significantly more sensitive to the sun. But the side effects didn't end there. Digestive issues such as nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea were also a thing. In the end, it was as if TikTok was essentially encouraging teenagers to drink a substance that could lead to severe sunburns, all while chasing a clear skin dream that had no scientific backing.
$19 Fortnite card. Who wants it?
Of course, the comment section was a mixed batch of pro and naysayers, with some actively pushing against it, saying things like, "Y'all be so ready to hop on trends because y'all see people do it, but don't ever look up the cons. That's what I did before I thought of using it." While others fought back against the haters with comments like, "I'll continue taking it in moderation. There are worse side effects from taking Tylenol. Doctors always go against anything natural." In the end, chlorophyll drops was a trend that prioritized how a remedy looks in a glass over how it actually functions in the body. It proved that in the world of TikTok diets, if you can make a plain glass of water look like a magic potion, you can convince millions of people that they finally found the secret to eternal energy, and that illusion continued onto the next diet called the Sleepy Girl Mocktail, which started on TikTok in early 2023 when a user named Kaylee Shee posted a simple drink recipe to help people fall asleep naturally.
Let's make my favorite sleepy time mocktail. This is so simple. You're gonna do 2 ingredients. That's it. So the hero ingredient here is tart cherry juice, and you just want plain tart cherry juice with no extra sugar. The reason for this is because cherries can actually increase melatonin available in the body. Melatonin is a hormone your body makes in response to darkness, and it's part of your sleep and wake cycle, and healthy melatonin production promotes better sleep. My cats are playing with an ice cube. Topped it off with the lemon ginger olipop. You can also do it with just the sparkling water.
It was a simple bedtime drink with no alcohol. Then another famous TikToker named Gracie Norton made a video about it in March 2023, crediting Kaylee, which got over 1.5 million views. Later in November 2023, she reposted it, and the drink really took off. This was around the time when many people were looking for wellness trends, and this gave it a pretty interesting run on social media. Pretty soon, the Sleepy Girl mocktail was everywhere. In April 2023, websites like BuzzFeed and Better Homes and Gardens wrote about it, while TikTok users shared their own stories.
The other night, I decided to try the Sleepy Girl mocktail that I've been seeing everyone and their mother make on this app, and let me just tell you something. This is delicious. It is so good, and it's going to knock you out cold. Like, I'm not kidding. Definitely try this if you have a hard time sleeping, because this is the best thing TikTok has ever taught me.
And just like that, the hashtag SleepyGirlMocktail saw more than 570 million earned media impressions and 50 million TikTok views. All of that buzz brought people straight to the comment sections, where the excitement was hard to miss, and one such person wrote, "I drink tart cherry juice every night before bed and sleep like a rock." Finally, somebody who gets it. But the problems began to show up when the health experts began to speak out. They pointed out that tart cherry juice has a lot of sugar, about 16 grams in one serving, which is like 4 teaspoons of sugar, and having that much sugar before bed can actually spike your blood sugar. It actually keep a person awake, whereas the fizzy soda can cause bloating and heartburn. There was another issue with the magnesium if someone used the wrong type.
1 tablespoon of magnesium powder? I don't know how much that is. You could be overdosing yourself with magnesium. And by the way, when you have too much magnesium in your system, you usually end up with diarrhea. Speaking of that end of your body, by adding a splash of prebiotic soda, which is usually carbonated, there's a pretty high likelihood that you're gonna get gas in the middle of the night, and that's not gonna be too much fun for your bed partner. So I'm giving the Sleepy Girl mocktail an official thumbs down.
Even worse, taking too much, more than 350 milligrams, could cause bigger problems like irregular heartbeat. The CDC and other health groups put out warnings, while many dietitians said most of the success stories were likely just placebo effects since there wasn't enough scientific evidence to support the claims made.
But what does the science say? Well, there's a lot of research out there that shows that cherry juice, which has a high concentration of natural melatonin, might improve overall sleep patterns, your cortisol levels. Overall, I wouldn't quite endorse this trend for direct sleep benefits, with the understanding that the evidence on whether this specific mocktail actually helps with sleep is really largely anecdotal right now.
Then came the most shocking part. Some TikTok users started making fun of the trend by swapping ingredients, and instead of a healthy mocktail, they made it into lean, a street drug made with codeine cough syrup, soda, and juice that can cause addiction, a feeling of being too high, and even death from overdose. That concern quickly split into the comment sections, where one question summed up the frustration of many viewers. Why are we popularizing lean? In the end, the Sleepy Girl mocktail gained a bad reputation and ended up becoming just another overhyped TikTok diet hack that could cause so much health damage. But as strange as the mocktail trend was, it wasn't the only strange drink trend on TikTok. Around the same time, an even weirder and more dangerous one was brewing on the same platform. The Borax challenge started on TikTok around the middle of 2023 when a group of TikTok influencers started talking about natural or holistic medicine and began telling people to eat a tiny pinch of a product called 20 Mule Team Borax.
This is day 1 of me ingesting Borax.
I hopped on the Borax train.
I jumped on the Borax train.
I have officially jumped on the Borax train.
Borax.
Borax.
Borax. Borax.
Borax. A product that is normally used as a laundry cleaner and a bug killer, but these influencers said to dissolve it in water and drink it as a health drink. They call the strange drink an alternative medicine, claiming that consuming Borax can help treat different things, ranging from joint pain to eye swelling to mouth swelling to menstrual cramps or even cancer. And just like any other trend, it also spread pretty fast among wellness groups that did not trust regular medicine.
Because the FDA quietly approved a drug for people with cancer, or so-called drug, right? A chemotherapy drug full of boron. But wait a minute, didn't the FDA said that taking boron was harmful to your health and that taking too much could potentially hurt you in some way or your organs? You know the reason why they don't want you taking boron? Because we will bring down $1 trillion business. So why is the world not knowing about boron? Because of course, the FDA has labeled it as something harmful. That is so stupid and dumb. But yet they approve it for people with cancer now? People with cancer.
And by late 2023, a lot of people were talking about it, but not in a good way. News websites like NBC, Vox, Wyon, and Forbes wrote stories warning people about it.
By day, we earlier told you about the Ozempic drug that made rounds on the platform. Now it seems people are consuming a toxic compound. And it's become a trend. We're talking about borax, a substance which is used for killing cockroaches and ants. Influencers are claiming that consuming borax can reduce symptoms of health issues. Doctors say that the substance is poisonous and should never ever be consumed. I can't believe we have to say this. Why are influencers trying to influence death? Is TikTok becoming a suicide portal?
They pointed out that the benefits were fake, and on Reddit, people were shocked. One popular subreddit called That's Insane had users comparing it to the old Tide Pod challenge, where people ate laundry soap pods. But despite all the warnings, some folks still had questions, and not everyone was convinced that the trend was dangerous. One social media user put it this way: "I was wondering, I wanted to start the borax, but have been hearing that it's dangerous to take and just a TikTok trend, and very nervous to start. I see it as warnings, and Reddit can shut down your organs and do all kinds of things. Anyone been using it for a while? Any issues?" And just like that, it didn't take long for experts to speak up. Toxicologists said the trend was very dangerous. One of them was Dr. Kelly Johnson Arbor from the National Capital Poison Center, who called it patently dangerous. The immediate effects of drinking borax are awful.
If you were to ingest borax, it is very likely that over time you would develop symptoms of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. It can even lead to acute renal failure or severe kidney failure. And in some cases, it's even led to death.
The most shocking backlash came from a TikTok user called ChemThug, a real chemist who made a video talking about the Borax Challenge videos and called the trend recklessly poisoning yourself.
I need to get off this train. Don't eat out of the laundry box, people. I guess let's get into it. I actually did research. I went into the primary literature and I read papers that both talked about some potential benefits for having boron in your diet, but also way more literature talking about how boron and specifically borate compounds like sodium tetraborate, aka borax, is actually really not good for you. According to the literature, it can cause kidney failure, it can cause reproductive harm. It also can cause developmental issues.
Ultimately, the Borax Challenge gained a dangerous reputation, and it became a perfect example of TikTok idiocy at its worst. As shocking as the Borax trend was, it didn't take long for another reckless challenge to take over. This one involved caffeine and choking hazards. Dry scooping started as a fitness trend on TikTok around early 2021. The idea was simple, but strange. Instead of mixing pre-workout powder with water, people would just take a full scoop straight from the container and swallow it dry.
It's workout time and everyone's been taking a pre-workout on my For You page, so
this trend appealed to gym goers and teenagers who wanted extreme hacks to get stronger or faster, and in the middle of 2021, it exploded. Hashtags like #dryscooping started trending, and people turned it into a challenge that made many cough or choke. But what seemed like a fun, edgy challenge soon caught the attention of health experts who began looking closer at what dry scooping actually does to the body. And soon they pointed out many risks. The rapid rush of caffeine could cause a fast heartbeat, chest pain, dizziness, shaking, anxiety, irregular heart rhythms, and high blood pressure. On top of that, inhaling the dry powder may cause lung inflammation or infection, making it hard to breathe. Beyond these immediate dangers, there was another basic problem with the whole practice. The body did not absorb the powder well when taken dry. In fact, mixing with water was the safe way to control how the body took in the ingredients.
A lot of pre-workouts, complete pre-workouts like transparent supplements, pump juice, contain massive serves, 15 grams per scoop, 20 grams per scoop, 30 grams per serve. You just can't get that much powder into your system without having some sort of delivery system. A full shaker of water is like almost necessary to just consume the powder. The second reason is a lot of your pre-workout performance enhancing ingredients are designed to elicit effects like muscle pumps, muscle power, muscular endurance, and these effects simply don't work without you being hydrated. They don't work without water.
But ignoring basic safety rules wasn't the only problem with this trend. The real harm started showing up in emergency rooms. In April 2021, a 20-year-old woman named Brittany Portillo had a heart attack after dry scooping a product called Total War Powder.
The dry scooping trend on TikTok, and I saw fitness influencers saying if you take it dry, it hits your system quicker and it can give you a boost to work out. So I figured, why not try it? Since it was fitness influencers, I saw no harm. I was like, they know what they're doing. Like itchy and tingly on my body. And I Googled the symptoms because sometimes I get paranoid. I feel like I'm a hypochondriac. And online it said that's like a normal symptom. So I was thinking, okay, maybe like all like the next symptoms that I feel are just like in my head. It's okay, it's normal. So I went on and proceeded with my workout. And then I started to feel like a heavy like chest pain, and like my chest felt heavy as I was working out. But I ignored it because I thought it had like a heavier chest pain, and then my left side of my body, like my arm, went like numb. So I like told my managers to call like 911. So you did suffer from an NSTEMI, which is a mild form of a heart attack, and they kept me overnight and they had to do a stress test on me.
Her story didn't stay quiet for long. It spread across social media and eventually reached medical professionals, who realized this wasn't just an isolated incident and started sharing immediate warnings.
Physiologic standpoint, one of them is that you're taking upwards of 3.5 times the normal amount of caffeine that you would get in a cup of coffee. That's a lot of jolt to the system, and in some cases that can overstimulate the heart, leading to an arrhythmia.
Their advice didn't just stay in hospitals and clinics. It quickly made its way to social media, where creators and everyday users began spreading the message in their own way. Many debunking videos popped up to warn people. Survivors of dry scooping accidents shared their stories to keep others safe, and it became known as a reckless fitness hack that could cause heart attacks in young, healthy people. But if swallowing powder without water seemed extreme, what came next was even simpler. Just one chip, but with a deadly kick. Around 2016, a company called Paqui, which later became a part of Hershey's, came up with the idea of the one-chip challenge. The founders were Doug Lyon and Ed Curry. Ed Curry was the brain behind the Carolina Reaper pepper.
Today we're here in Fort Mill to visit one of our good friends, Smokin' Ed Curry, the owner of Pucker Butt Pepper Company, and he's also the creator of the Carolina Reaper, the world's hottest pepper.
And the idea for the challenge came after Doug had a very strong reaction to eating pepper powder. They used the two hottest peppers in the world, the Carolina Reaper and the Naga Viper. These peppers measure over 2 million Scoville units, which is a way to measure heat. The chip was sold alone in a foil wrapper, packed inside a small box that looked like a dare. The rules were simple. Eat the whole chip, then wait as long as possible without drinking or eating anything while filming the reaction. At first, even drinking milk wasn't allowed. The challenge gained early attention with the hashtag #OneChipChallenge in 2016, but it really exploded on TikTok and YouTube. Teenagers and even younger kids posted videos of themselves screaming, throwing up, and bragging about how long they could last. These videos got millions of views.
Today we're going to be eating the Carolina Reaper pepper. These are the world's hottest pepper.
It's still burning?
Mm-hmm.
She's just sitting here drooling.
Lay back.
Holy shit.
Lay back.
Are you okay?
No.
That wasn't a good idea. Holy hell.
I'm fine. I'm gonna put it on the app.
Soon, the challenge spread to the educational institutes and the dares became common. Back in 2022, a high school in California sent 3 students to the emergency room and 9 others got sick. Whereas a county in Colorado banned the challenge after kids ended up in the hospital. With all these hospital visits and bans, the real dangers of the chip could no longer be brushed aside. It became worse when people couldn't handle it anymore. The challenge was never safe for young people or anyone with a heart condition, as the spice could damage the esophagus and put a strain on the heart, leading to uneven heartbeats and high blood pressure. Even though the box had warnings, social media had ignored them. The whole trend was aimed at thrill seekers, including kids who wanted to show off. And as we've talked about previously, it didn't take long for people to end up hospitalized.
Our hospitalizations nationwide. Ben Ellis, who has a 14-year-old daughter, survived, but regrets taking the chance.
There was like fumes coming out of my mouth, my throat. It was some of the most intense, excruciating pain I've been in my entire life. Could barely stand. I could barely breathe. I started vomiting.
However, on September 1st, 2023, the entire trend took a dark turn when a 14-year-old boy named Harris Wolaba from Worcester, Massachusetts decided to partake in the challenge.
A tragic outcome to a social media stunt, the so-called one-chip challenge has left an American teenager dead. The grade 10 student ate a spicy tortilla chip that comes in a coffin-shaped package promising, quote, intense heat and pain.
After Harris's death, Packy and Hershey recalled the chip and the sales stopped.
The autopsy shows his heart stopped. The chips have since been pulled from Canadian stores.
Then in 2023, a 10-year-old girl in Florida got suspended from school after the chip made 6 of her classmates sick. And even the adults reported extreme stomach problems after trying the challenge. With a death, multiple hospital visits, and growing public outrage, the companies behind the chip had no choice but to act fast. The action was immediate. The one-chip challenge was banned, and Packy discontinued the product. When it was all over, the damage was already done. The one-chip challenge had gone from a fun dare to a deadly disaster. The chip was meant for adults only, and the box came with warnings to keep it away from kids, people with spice sensitivity, or anyone with health problems. Yet people chose to ignore it, leading to hospital visits, a teenager's death, and a full product recall. As the outrage over the spicy chip faded, viewers found something else to be angry about. And this time, it wasn't a dare, but a daily breakfast. The story of Donut Mom meals began when a TikTok creator named Alexandra Sable posted a video of her making her 1-year-old daughter's breakfast with donuts and applesauce. From that moment, she earned the nickname Donut Mom. Her other videos followed the same pattern. She would show what she called meals for her kids, but they weren't really cooked meals. Instead, they were frozen processed food. Chicken nuggets from McDonald's, takeout from Wendy's, or pizza from Papa John's.
Better. We got Wendy's, but my bag broke, so I put it in a grocery bag for lunch. Ooh, she got a little monster. 3-year-old's plate.
She called this relatable mom life, and the timing was just perfect to make her famous, as it fit right into the momfluencer trend, where chaotic parenting content got a lot of views. People loved watching the mess, and the videos got millions of views. But there were a few viewers who argued about whether she was being real or just neglecting her children. One concerned viewer put it this way: "Those kids are going to develop nutritional deficiencies, not to mention super bad cholesterol and the heart problems at a very young age." But soon, critics started speaking up and pointed out the unhealthy food being served to the kids.
Obviously, as you can see, a lot of the foods that are chosen are just not the healthiest, especially for, having young kids in the house and just how much is bought. But without further ado, let's just get into this video.
There was no protein or fiber or real nutrients that young children need for development. Instead, these food items only slowed their growth and weakened their immune system. But these critics were soon met with resistance when other moms came to defend her.
There was a pretty viral video of a mom giving her toddler a donut for breakfast, accompanied with some applesauce, and evidently that is so controversial. And I have some thoughts. I see creators on this app every single day that have 1 million or so followers and fit the traditional standard of beauty, will make their kids junk. They will go spend $500+ at the grocery store on mostly junk, and no one says anything, probably because they're popular and they're skinny. You have this woman that is not a widely known creator, that is not 100 pounds, and she's getting shamed. On a large scale, getting shamed. I am just so terribly sorry for her. Terribly sorry that I went in the comments and had to unfollow mutuals of mine that are giving hate to this woman, all of which claim to be great moms that are raising good humans.
But the outrage was much louder. Parenting Police Online demanded she serve healthy food, and the people in the comment section criticized her. One angry viewer didn't hold back and commented, "This is child abuse. Those kids need to be taken from her now." Still, none of it mattered to her. She kept on feeding her kids soda, pizza, and other junk food at an age when nutrients are critical for them.
6-year-old, she got nuggets, fries, and apples, and we got McDonald's for lunch. We got Wendy's. No. I'm getting your food, honey. We got Pizza Hut. We got Wendy's. We got Mexican food. We got Chinese. We got pizza. We got Chinese. We got Mexican food. We got pizza. We got pizza.
Even after all the backlash, Alexandra's meals became a perfect example of a toxic momfluencer. But while Donut Mom was called out for overfeeding junk food to her kids, another creator was gaining fame for doing the opposite. Liv Schmidt first started posting on TikTok around 2020 and gained popularity by 2024 through her lifestyle videos where she showed very small, low-calorie meals.
I eat fries and stay skinny because this is the portion that they give you in America. It's diabolical. This is what I eat. I have like a few fries, some fruit, and a little bit of a burger if you want to see what I eat in a day.
The videos had a fancy New York City look where she wore matching gym outfits and shared tips on portion control.
Start with the tea. I get the little baby spoon and I'm going to put some ice cream on it. I have to make sure I'm not getting my white coat. Skinny hack, wear white, makes you eat less. And I'm gonna enjoy this portion just to taste. You don't need to eat the whole entire thing.
There was a time when people were tired of the body positivity movement and hearing about Ozempic. People were looking for realistic tips for staying thin, especially after seeing weight loss transformations. And on this demand, she founded Skinny Society, with an E at the end instead of a Y, which was joined by many other aspirants.
Weight training. Once I found Liv Schmidt's content and started to incorporate her advice into my life and routines,
her recipes focused on low-calorie tricks and laid emphasis on portion control. And it didn't take long before people began accusing Liv of promoting disordered eating. The meals she showed were extremely small, often suggesting less than 1,200 calories per day, completely insufficient for an average adult. She glorified thinness without talking about health, and there were almost no healthy fats or carbs. The backlash got louder after a feature story about her in the Wall Street Journal in September 2024, and that article sparked big debates about skinny talk versus body positivity, but it didn't stop her. She kept on posting about her diet and what she eats throughout the day.
Today was giving a martini energy, so I thought to order it, and this martini is my favorite martini ever. Then had a few bites of this ice cream.
But the platform itself had finally seen enough, and in September 2024, TikTok banned her account for violating the platform's rules on disordered eating and body image. Major news outlets like the New York Times, Rolling Stone, and Cosmopolitan wrote exposés about her as they dug into her skinny club code, which was all about obsessing over portions and having consequences and control over food. But if Liv Schmidt was the face of skinny TikTok, Nikocado was the king of the complete opposite, and both broke the internet for different reasons. Nikocado Avocado started his journey by making videos about vegan food and ASMR, but what made him rise to popularity was his mukbang videos. In his early videos, he would eat huge feasts with 10,000 calories or more. Back then, he was a vegan. He played violin on camera and ate pretty healthy meals like raw vegan salads, avocado towers, and spirulina bowls.
This is the biggest mango in the world, and it tastes like chocolate pudding cheesecake. Let's open it up. Oh my god, a big one. Cheesecake Factory, are you listening? Cheers. Don't even look at me.
He weighed about 150 pounds and acted like a clean-eating health guru, but soon he moved on to even bigger vegan feasts, entire watermelons, 50 banana smoothies, and huge plates of raw nuts. One of his craziest vegan stunts was a 24-hour fruit-only challenge with exotic fruits like durian and jackfruit. His videos were dramatic and relied on shock value, with portion sizes that kept growing just to keep people watching. Then in 2019, he posted a dramatic video saying he was no longer vegan and was quitting his vegan diet. After that, he switched to eating massive amounts of fast food. He would eat 30 In-N-Out burgers at once, 100 Taco Bell tacos, and 20,000 calorie McDonald's hauls with 100 nuggets and large fries.
First man on my channel besides my husband. Really? I didn't know that. He's a legendary. He's the first guy. How's it feel to be the first guy on my channel? I'm honored. You are the first.
He dressed up in costumes, moaned dramatically, and ate things like hot Cheeto-dusted ramen, entire Costco sheet cakes, and scrambles made from 100 eggs. One of the craziest stunts from this era was a 21-pound live lobster mukbang. He boiled the lobster on camera and ate it whole with loud ASMR crunching.
I'm gonna try to be polite, okay? No running it down my mouth. All right, here I go. Cheers!
By 2024, he accumulated more than 9.9 million subscribers and approximately 2.67 billion total views across 6 YouTube channels, and generating over 10 billion views on TikTok. His fame exploded between 2019 and 2023 during his weight gain era, where he documented himself becoming morbidly obese. At his highest, he claimed to weigh around 400 pounds.
400 lbs. The other one busted at 350 lbs. Discrimination!
Hello, it's ready. £403.0 pounds.
Fans were concerned about him and kept guessing what would happen next. One viewer summed up that anxiety in a comment. "I hope I'm not the only one who checks in on him every month to make sure he's still alive." Yet, nothing ever stopped him. He had emotional rants and fights with other creators like Trisha Paytas, and mukbangs with over 20,000 calories. He was seen as the king of mukbang. During the COVID lockdowns, when many people were watching eating videos, his shares went way up. But the biggest twist was still to come. In September 2024, he posted a video called 2 Steps Ahead, where he made a shocking revelation of him being thin, healthy, and completely different from the person millions of people had been worried about for years. The internet couldn't believe what they were seeing. One viewer summed up the shock perfectly. "You gotta realize this is actually insane. This is gonna be one of those historic YouTube moments, and we're all a part of it." In the end, Nikocado Avocado tricked millions of people while he pretended to fall apart, gained hundreds of pounds with his crazy meals, and filmed it all for years. Then he revealed he was fine the whole time. But while the mukbang king shocked the world with his weight loss, these primal eaters shocked everyone else for a whole different reason. The raw meat diet started showing up on TikTok around 2020 and 2021, and it was pushed by influencers who followed a primal or carnivore way of eating.
This is what a typical meal looks like on a raw primal diet. I've got a sirloin steak, grass-fed, grass-finished, organic grapes, some raw Parmesan cheese which has been aged for 30 months, and some fermented kimchi, which is great for gut health.
The meals included raw beef, liver, fish, or raw organs like the heart, while some people even blended raw meat into smoothies and gulped them down while they were still warm.
Primals want to know, how does Liver King maintain a level 10 intensity? Here's how I do it. I start with liver for strength, throw in some kidney for courage. I got the testicle, that's right, that's for honor. We got some bone marrow right here. That right there is for mastery. Goodness. Look at that, Liver King broke the blender again. Get another blender. Give me the blender. You know what? It's probably good to drink just like this. More! Level 10 intensity.
The recipes always use grass-fed, unprocessed cuts of meat because the influencers claimed that raw meat had better enzymes and more vitamins like B12, and said cooking destroyed the good nutrients.
This is raw beef liver. Most people think that it's dangerous because of the evil bacteria, the cholesterol, the parasites, the high amounts of vitamin A, but it's actually the opposite. I'm eating this now since a few months and it was only beneficial to my health. But why does so many people say that raw meat is dangerous?
One of the most famous promoters was Liver King, who actively promoted eating raw meat and the primal lifestyle on his TikTok account of 6 million followers.
Fresh testicles from a fresh meal. Who wants the first bite of the testicle sandwich?
Me.
That's what I call a primal picnic. Get down on that sandwich.
But not everyone was convinced, and one such viewer made their feelings clear. "I'd rather lick the bottom of my shoe and eat Cheerios than eat raw meat." Then, between 2021 and 2023, this trend exploded when it found a home in groups that were against vaccines and processed foods, because they believed it was healthy for them, even though there are no proven benefits of eating raw meat over cooked meat.
So I've been eating a lot of raw organs lately because they're full of nutrients, vitamins. I'm trying to get pregnant, okay?
And soon, the dangers became very clear since. Uncooked meat can contain Campylobacter, E. coli, Listeria, and Salmonella, all of which can cause severe bacterial food poisoning. Despite all the warnings, people refused to stop, and the trend spread like wildfire. And then in 2023, the trend took a massive hit when the Liver King got exposed in a steroid scandal.
How much are you spending?
Listen, it's enough.
No, I need a number. Come on, what is the number?
It's enough to buy a car every month.
50 grand?
No, not a 50 grand.
All right, 30 grand?
Do you know the number that he said in the email?
I don't remember.
Okay, so the number I think at the time was
like 10 or 12?
Was maybe 10 to 15,000.
Okay.
It's a little bit more than that.
So like 20 grand?
Yeah.
You think you spend $250,000 on growth hormone over the last year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
$1 million?
No.
Viewers who had once believed his act were now furious. One person summed up the betrayal by commenting, "I can't believe people actually thought this guy was real. He's about as real as a WWE character." The raw meat trend was risky, gross, and built on lies. When Liver King got exposed, the whole thing fell apart, proving that some trends are better left in the wild, and people should not follow everything they see on the internet.